What's up? It's your boy KC2 Real, man. I'm back here with another one, Talkin Stock Tuesdays, man. Um, I'm happy to be here with y'all. I hope everybody had a great week from last week. A lot has been going on as per usual. Um, if you've been looking at the market, man, if you've been picking up on some of these plays I've been putting down, man, you should be looking pretty good. The market has been doing pretty well. It's been holding up well. Um, I've expressed to you my long-term concerns about the market and the economy and things of that nature, but as of right now, in the short term, we are doing pretty decent. I can't even lie. So, Palantir's taking off. We got gold going crazy. What another one I talked to you all about is Netflix is going crazy. It's a lot of movers out here, man. If you've been sleeping, you've been sleeping. Nvidia's up some, so it's been doing pretty well, man. So shout out to those of you that are executing and not just listening to the information, but actually putting it to work, man. That's the goal. Um, I appreciate y'all for listening to me talk, but I really don't want you to just listen to me talk. I want you to make some money, please. With that being said, though, please always do your own research before following any of my advice. I am not a financial advisor. If you need help with any of that sort of thing, please contact a financial advisor or do your own research before making any investment decisions. I am not responsible for anything that happens in your pockets. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make that known. Um, but anyways, all right, so let's get into it. As you can see here in the picture, I have the meeting between Trump and the Canadian Prime Minister right here. Um, it was an interesting meeting. That's all I'll say. It's not as interesting as the Ukraine one, but interesting nonetheless. Okay, so let's keep going. Can this? Oh yeah, you can hear me. Okay, so the S&P closed at 5566.76. Last week, the Russell 2000 was up 2% last week. Despite the rally, markets are still shaky because of inflation, tariffs, and weak data. Still weighing heavy. Um, Now we've talked about this for 2 weeks now. I ain't gonna go into it because we've already talked about it, but let's try to make some money before the crash, right? So let's just do it. So choppy movement this week. Big moves will likely come from earnings and Fed sentiment. Green candles don't always mean go. Sometimes it's bait. All right, let's go. So, what are some key events that you need to be paying attention to this week? The Federal Reserve is called to make a decision. Now, I do not believe they will make a decision. I think they're going to put it off again. Which I believe he did, but I think he's going to put it off again. But people are going to be listening to see how worried he is about stagflation. We had a negative quarter of GDP this first quarter of 2025. If you didn't know, even though a lot of these companies you see are reporting beating earnings and things of that nature, the economy as a whole had a negative GDP quarter, which is the first time that's happened. I think it's since like 2022 or 2023, like fresh off of COVID. So that's something to be concerned about. And I know Powell is definitely concerned about it. So people are listening to his tone to see how serious and how worried he sounds about stagflation. So they're expected to hold the rates the same, which is basically what I said. A hawkish tone equals sell-off risk, a dovish pivot, um, potential rally, right? Which I definitely don't think he's gonna be sounding like super enthusiastic, but I also think he's gonna try not to sound too worried about stagflation because he just doesn't want to trigger a panic, which is kind of hard. He really has a difficult job, but yeah, so it is what it is, but we'll see, right? Um, so economic reports are dropping. Productivity data drops Wednesday, which is 5/7. Consumer credit report is Thursday, and the U.S. trade balance is Friday. So if you like me and like to look at economic data to kind of gauge where the market and overall economics is headed, that is information you can look into. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make sure my microphone working. I hope it was working that whole time. But anyways, Palantir, um, Palantir, earnings. Oh yeah, so earnings to watch. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. Earnings to watch. Palantir's earnings is coming out. Can their government plus AI mix keep the momentum alive? Watching for growth outlook plus contracts. AMD is up, Nvidia's little cousin. Will they deliver or disappoint? Eyes on AI chips and margins. Uber is one that I really kind of like. I've been watching Uber for a while now. I think I talked about it kind of like a couple months ago on Talking Stock Tuesdays. But Uber is one of those ones that I kind of like. Um, Rides holding up, but delivery may drag. Investors need to see profitability. Which I'm worried about Uber because people have less money in their pockets due to prices rising soon. And I think that's gonna have people stopping taking Ubers because Uber kind of got a little expensive. But anyways, Disney, streaming, parks, ESPN, it's all in the mix. If this beats In God Strong, that could be a consumer sentiment boost. So we're gonna talk a lot about Disney in a second. Disney's definitely doing well though. Tariff tension and recession talk. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here, right? Well, we already talked about the tariffs. Ain't nothing really changed from the last time I told you. I already talked to y'all about the International Monetary Fund growth dropping their growth forecast. So I'm not gonna beat your head in with those. If you want to hear the information about that, watch last week's episode. Um, Real US GDP already saw a soft dip last quarter. That's what I was talking about. We had a negative quarter. Um, so this is slowdown. So stagflation is very, very likely. They're not going to tell you that because they don't want people to panic and stuff of that nature. And stagflation, if you're not familiar with what that means, stagflation means that prices are high, but usually when prices are high, it's because the economy is growing, which sustains the high price because, of course, more jobs are being created, people are making more income, the economy's getting better, so people are able to sustain those high prices. But if the economy isn't growing as fast and the prices are still growing, that's what you call stagflation. So now you have high prices plus slow economic growth, which means how are people going to be able to cover these high prices when the economy's doing bad as well? So that's what stagflation is, and that's why it's so important that we don't get there, even if we might already be there. But that's not what they're trying to tell you. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you because we on Talking Stock Tuesdays and we gonna keep it real. But also, if y'all watching, I forgot to say in the intro, please hit that like, subscribe, and join the Discord, man. We here every week doing the same breakdown, man. Definitely, definitely, definitely hit that bell, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share with your friends, please. All right, but anyways, with that being said, the picture that I added to this, I want to show everybody. Now, this is all the people that claim that oh, Trump's tariffs are just taxes on other countries and we're not gonna have to eat the cost. Look at this graph right here. And this is from the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy from April 2025. This is not an old graph. This is the source. I'm citing my source right here. Trump's tariffs raise taxes for all income groups with biggest hike on the poorest Americans. This is what you need to understand. The biggest hikes are going to be on the poorest Americans. 6.2% change in taxes. That's raising taxes, by the way, um not making things cheaper for you. And the richest 1% only have to get raised 1.7%. And that's not even counting the tax evasion tactics that they use. So this is just showing you how when average Americans are saying this tariff is not going to be a good thing for average Americans, and they're saying, oh yeah, there's going to be some pain. When you hear Republicans saying, oh yeah, there'll be some pain, we're going to have to endure some pain for a better future and all that, they're really talking about basically saying that the poorest people are going to be the worst hit. And you know what's crazy about that? They ran this whole campaign saying that the Democrats were the one that were eradicating the middle class, and they're trying to bring it back. How are you bringing back the middle class when they've eaten the brunt of all of this? The richest people in the world are the ones affected less by this. How does that make sense? And this is data. This is data giving you, this is me. This is not my opinion. It's not something I'm just thinking. I'm showing you real graph data that shows that the poorest 20%, the second 20%, the middle, the fourth, next richest is showing you exactly how these taxes will be breaking down with these tariffs. And you literally see that it actually affects the middle class worse than it does rich people. And when the stock market dropped, all you heard Republicans saying was, oh, well, all these elites have been making trillions of dollars for too long. We don't care about elites losing money in the stock market. No, it wasn't elites, dumbass. It was your 401k, your grandma's 401k and her social security check. And now you're going to tax the poorest of the country. You're going to make them suffer to make the richest 1.1% richer. This is crazy. But this is just to prove my point. This didn't really have much to do about well actually it did, but yeah, this is just proving my point. I'm tired of y'all saying stupid stuff and you don't do any research. You just going off what somebody told you. Fox News isn't a source. I'm sorry. If you're watching mainstream news channels, I don't care if it's Fox or if it's CNBC, whatever, MSNBC, whatever Democrat news channel it is. All of them ain't the source. It don't matter. And don't go to TikTok or YouTube. Because some dude on a podcast ain't a source either. How about you actually look up data? At least attempt to look something up for once. All right. Anyway, sorry, y'all, but I'll be having to really talk to people because people are delusional. But anyways, all right, let's move on. So we got some quick news. I'm gonna kind of run through this kind of quick because I kind of got somewhere to go after this. But Disney's blockbuster moves and Trump's film tariff twist. Now, recently, Trump has well, let's do Disney first. Disney reported their quarter two earnings um forecast with Disney Plus subscriptions hitting 126 million, outpacing projections. The company also announced a new theme park in Abu Dhabi, making it the first one in the UAE. So Disney's been doing a couple things. That's one of the stocks you should probably be watching just to see what happens, given this information, right? So Trump's tariff proposal in a surprising move. Oh yeah, so that's what I was about to say. So Trump, it's not enough to just do these tariffs with trade. This motherfucker wants to excuse my language. This guy wants to um tear foreign films to bolster US movie production. Um so basically he's trying to put a tax on foreign films. Um which I don't really care about, to be honest. It's not that big of a deal. I just thought it was funny because Netflix is going to be affected by this somehow. That's all. That's the main takeaway I want you to take away from this whole situation. I don't really care that he's doing this. To be honest, I feel like it's petty, but it don't really matter to me. I'm not about to make a big deal about it. I don't even watch that many foreign movies. I don't think. I don't know. I don't really know. But anyways, Netflix is going to be affected by this though. All of these, see, because one of the things that a lot of people were saying about Netflix is that they were tariff free, basically. Because it's like, how do you tariff streaming services? And they're worldwide. But now it seems like they might have to end up being tariffed for foreign movies shown in the US. So that might make subscriptions higher, which might end up eating into their profits or lose some subscriptions because people not willing to pay the higher subscription price. So from takeaway from this is streaming services for movies. Watch how this affects it. Okay, keep going. So the Luigi effect. CEOs are amping up security um after the Luigi incident happened. The December 2024 murder of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, RIP, by Luigi Mangione has led to heightened security measures among Fortune 500 executives. Um, uh, this is very interesting to me. It's funny because well, it's not funny, but I think people should this is why it's important to do good business though. I know a lot of people think in the short term, and I know when you're running a company, sometimes you got to do things you're not proud of to keep the train rolling. But more companies, in my personal opinion, and I'm not saying that his death was justified or anything of that nature. Um, all I'm saying is separate point, nothing to do with this case. I'm just saying companies in general. I think they should just really be more worried about when they're making their business model and their business plan. Really genuinely keeping the people's best interest in heart. The money is important, but the customers is who you're doing it for. You know what I'm saying? So, and the better you treat your customers, the more money they'll make you. So, um, that's just a mental note that I'm just putting out there. But it is tragic what happened to him, and I don't wish that on anybody. But anyways, let's keep going. So security surge, companies are investing in discrete security solutions like Safer Watch, featuring LTE panic buttons and rapid emergency connections with top tier services, costing up to $100,000 annually. So that just goes to show motherfuckers ain't playing. All right. So Fox News, my favorite news. No, I'm just playing. Okay, but all right, let's lock in. Fox News diversifies beyond cable, right? So they have a revenue shift. Fox News projects $500 million in revenue for 2025 from non-cable ventures, including digital content, streaming, and podcasts. So they're also getting into the podcast and streaming spaces, and also digital content, which is like short form content, videos, and things of that nature. Um, which is smart. Smart of Fox to do that. I think a lot of people have been watching Fox as I truly believe that there's been a growing conservative base. Um, and that's for several different reasons, not just one, but I think that's kind of been playing in the Fox's favor. Fox also is a stock. It's actually Fox, like that's the ticker symbol. So if you want to watch Fox and see what happens, that's another one to get into. Strategic pivot. This move reduces reliance on traditional cable TV, adapting to changing viewership habits and cord cutting trends. So, main takeaway you need to realize from this is mainstream TV is dying. Netflix's stock is booming. Disney is doing well. Cable TV is dying. They're moving towards streaming and in short form content, things of that nature, and podcasts. So mainstream TV is really gonna have to. I don't know if they could ever save mainstream TV. To be honest with you, mainstream TV might just be straight game shows and reruns after a while. Um, which it almost is now. So, yeah, man. RP mainstream TV. But anyways, all right, let's go. So, Live Nation. If you don't know what Live Nation is, they're company that hosts events and things of that nature for concerts and stuff. They throw festivals and all that shit. They provide the venue services. They're like venue services and and event planners and things of that nature. So Live Nation's record breaking concert season. So I don't know if y'all are big music fans like I am. I love music. I love listening to music. I love all different types of music. Um, but this year specifically, a lot of artists are going on tour. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this many damn tours and club events and all this type of shit going on. This reminds me of pre-pandemic when everybody used to be outside all the time. Um, so needless to say, it's gonna be a big year for concerts and tours and festivals and things of that nature. So Live Nation, of course, is in the mix to benefit from that situation. So Live Nation is on track for a record summer with stadium shows up 60% from last year, featuring artists like Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar. Despite economic uncertainties, fans prioritize live experiences with ticket sales and on-site spending remain strong. Now, one thing to take away from this is that yes, a lot of people are buying concert tickets still at this very moment. We have not felt the full effect of tariffs yet. So I think that will be dialed back soon as these tariffs really roll out and people really start feeling it in their wallets. I think concerts will be paid for less by people. Now let's keep in mind, what was the concert? I think it's Coachella. Coachella, they came out with a poll not too long ago that said like 70% of the people that were there or something um paid for the tickets with a buy now, pay later app, which is like putting it on a payment plan. So so it's interesting that just Coachella, 70% of the people were using buy now, pay later. Um, I think that will be the same with a lot of these concerts from this summer. But like I said, if you're already using a buy now, pay later app, once these tariffs hit, people just gonna cut that shit out altogether. And that's what I'm saying about Uber as well. I feel like people will Uber if needed, like if really, really necessary. But I highly doubt people are just gonna be Ubering all around the city like they do now. Like sometimes people literally just Uber just because they want to. And I don't think that's gonna be the case once people really start feeling these tariffs in their wallets. Now I showed you that graph. Now put all the information I just told you together. The graph, the buy now, pay later shit, Uber dropping the tariffs. I showed you the graph how much is going to affect the poorer people most. So, I mean, you can only imagine what it's really going to be like once it hits. But companies are definitely getting ready now. uh they're stockpiling stock to make sure that they have enough inventory to last through this so they can hopefully, I guess, um not have to raise prices for a couple more months. But we'll see what happens, man. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. Um I think it's gonna hurt a lot of Dollar Tree type businesses because they get a lot of their stuff for cheap from other places, so because it's so cheap. So I don't know if Dollar Tree gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? That everything a dollar shit is where it be out the window. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so what are hot right now? Tech is hot, gold is hot, and financial stocks are hot. Um, so these are QQQ and XLK. Those are ETFs. GLD is an ETF. IYF is an ETF. I have a list of ETFs, but I'm just telling you, just in case you was wondering why it's right there. So risky zones right now is energy, oil volatility and global slowdown, industrials hurt by tariffs and global tension, and consumer discretionary, weak spending plus high inflation killing demand. So that's what I was just telling you about weak spending plus high inflation. That's what I was just talking about the concerts and Uber and all that shit. People gonna stop doing it because they're gonna stop spending so much money on those type of things. So what are some safe zones in defensive sectors? We've been talking about healthcare, BHT specifically, which is an ETF, utilities and agriculture. Agriculture is a short-term play, it's not long-term in my opinion. Um, so I would play agriculture as a short-term play just to make that clear. Um, ETF watch list. So we got gold, we got VHT, we got DBA, we got QQQ, and we got IYF. So same ones I've been telling y'all. And if you're in my stock club, I say it all the time. I'm not one of those people that come with new stock picks and new ETFs every week. Um, the ones that have been working. If you got in gold when I told you it's up 27% year to date. I believe that I'm up personally like 15, 20% in it. So if you bought gold when I told you, you're doing well right now. If you bought QQQ when I told you, you're doing well right now, especially if you bought it when the market dropped right after the tariff announcement. It was a great time to buy. Doing well right now. Like you should be doing well in some of these stocks if you really, really are actually executing. That's why it is so important for you to execute and not just listen to me talk. And that was the point I was making in the beginning of the video. And I understand not everybody's ready to execute yet. You're still doing your research. You're still trying to get your own game plan going. And I understand that. Trust me, I get it. Um, I've not had money to put in the stock market. Had to save up to be able to invest in things of that nature. I've been there, so I definitely understand. But just don't put it off. Don't make it but one of those things where it's like okay, I ain't never end up getting around to doing it. Like you want to be in the market, I promise you, this is the time to be in. When the market is volatile like this, you can make money both ways, up and down. And that's the best part about it. And I said that I believe last week or the week before. The volatile markets are the time when stuff is really, really moving. And that's kind of when you want to be able to get in at the right price and things of that nature. So um, anyway, so yeah. So what is the game plan for this week? Only take high confidence setups. Let earnings come out before jumping into the hype. Um, hold on. Use this week to reposition based on the data. So that economic data that I told you coming out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, use that to your advantage. Use the earnings reports to your advantage. Um, I don't trade on Fridays. I have it on here as one of my rules. If you're in my stock club, this is one of our rules that we don't trade on Fridays. Now, some people in my stock club probably do trade on Fridays, but I told them that I'm not personally trading on Fridays. So um You don't have to follow that if you're watching this. That's just my personal rule. I don't like to trade on Fridays because I feel like the market just does some wacky stuff on Fridays, in my personal opinion. So I use it to study and reflect. And Zoom Q&A Thursday. Come ask me what's real and what's noise. I do Q&As every Thursday evening on Zoom. If you're in the stock club, join on Discord. I will be doing a live Q&A. If you have any questions about any Chandler, why are you in this? Why do you like this stock instead of this one? And what do you think about this stock? We can look at the chart, we can do whatever, and we can do it all live right there in front of you. Great experience. I learn from y'all just as much as y'all learn from me. So definitely don't hesitate to join the Discord. The Discord link will be in the description below. And yes, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the bell so you can get notified whenever we drop a new episode. All of those things, man. And with that being said, I gotta get up out of here, but I hope this was very helpful for this week. I hope this kind of gave y'all some insight on what's really going on. There's a lot more going on, but we're sticking more to economic stuff. We ain't getting into the politics and unless it affects the economic side, but other than that, we ain't getting into the politics and all that other stuff and all the social issues and things of that nature. Um, Not on this channel. I don't want to get into all that stuff because I really don't care what you believe in. If you want to make money, you can make money with me. But you know, I try to keep the main thing. The main thing is what's important. So yeah. Yeah, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, for watching. Um I will see y'all next week. Peace.